Hello, and welcome to this lecture on Chapter 1 in our Handbook of Social Media Marketing, the 5 Principles of Online and Social Network Interactivity. In this first chapter, entitled New Marketing Perspectives in Digital Times, we'll be looking at 5 key topics. Those topics are: what are traditional marketing? What is the new dynamic interactive marketing all about? What are different or new perspectives in digital times, and why should I care about the future? Then, we'll conclude with achieving relevance with Total CRM. Looking at the quote at the bottom, there will always, one can assume, be the need for selling. Think of selling as presenting or positioning or creating knowledge or information or sharing what is going on. So there's always going to be a need for some selling or communicating, but the aim of marketing is to make selling superfluous. The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well that your product or service fits that customer perfectly and by default sells itself. All that should be needed then is to make the product available. And that's what we're focusing on. Part 1, we're going to talk about traditional marketing, the shout, the get in front of, the interruption marketing. We're going to talk about the new interactive or dynamic marketing, where we are part of the channel and the consumer is also part of that channel, where we make that service available. We'll talk about those new perspectives, about how people share the communications objective. So with that, let's get started. Chapter 1, New Marketing Perspectives in Digital Time. So it's important that the organizational digital presence, and that means both their organization website as well as all of the different and varied social media or social networking pages. So it's important that the digital presence is relevant for the user searching for information. It must be relevant for the user to interact with products, services, and the organization. To do that requires that the keywords that the user would use or search on matches perfectly for what the organization does. It is what the searcher wants. Now, as we continue on and discuss that, and we'll spend a lot of time in Chapter 4 talking about that concept, consider also that Facebook, one of the social media tools, has evolved from what it was, which was a social networking platform, into a communications and sharing platform, and is now shifting to this social operating system. So what are we talking about this marketing strategy? What do you mean by marketing strategy? So marketing strategy became thought of as a method of focusing the organization's energies and resources on a specific course of action. This focusing can lead to increased sales, it can lead to leads, it can lead to dominance of that particular targeted marketed space that the organization wants to go for. A marketing strategy will combine all areas of the organization. It'll combine the product development, it'll combine promotion, it'll combine distribution and pricing, it'll combine relationship management and other elements. Marketing strategy identifies the organization's goals. It explains how the specific goals that the organization has set up will be achieved, and ideally how those goals will be achieved within a stated time period. So marketing strategy determines the choice of the market segments, of the positioning, the market mix, and the allocation of resources. So marketing strategy will define how the organization will be successful. It defines how the organization will engage customers and users and prospects and competitors in this dynamic, evolving marketing arena. So let's take a look at the traditional marketing. So with traditional or outbound marketing, we're talking about and dealing with creating or building awareness of your organization's products and services, using those tools and techniques such as telemarketing, such as television advertising or magazine advertising, such as newsletters or other types of copy, billboard signs, the shout out to masses of folks. So traditional marketing deals with interruption marketing. Well, let's take a look at some of the different types of marketing as it's evolved from that generic concept of outbound or traditional marketing. Relationship marketing is defined as a form of marketing developed from traditional direct response marketing campaigns. These campaigns emphasize customer retention and satisfaction rather than a dominant focus solely on the sale or solely on the specific transaction. Relationship marketing recognizes the long-term value of customer relationships, and it extended communication beyond the intrusive advertising and sales promotional message, which is what we characterize traditional marketing as. So the relationship said that we have to get closer to the customer, look at how we keep the customer, and how we satisfy the customer. So the undesirable opposite of permission marketing, the next type of marketing we'll look at, is this interruption-based marketing. You call somebody at home. You shout out in the middle of a television show. Permission marketing, thinking about, is when you obtain permission from the customer or user before you move forward on describing what you want to offer. For example, you ask permission to send email newsletters from the customer. So does your organization say, would you like this information sent? Can you opt in? It's mostly used by online marketers, notably in the email sector or in the search marketing sector. It's used as well by certain direct marketers who send catalogs of information. This form of marketing requires that the prospective customer or your user has given you explicit permission to send your promotional message. Or if you will, think about it that this prospective customer or user in the query example by default gives you implicit permission since they're querying and asking for information. So permission-based marketing, where you ask first. Let's continue on. Let's take a look here and notice that 60% of the surveyed organizations in this study stated that they're increasing their interactive marketing budget by moving money from traditional, such as print, billboard, television, radio, or shout out marketing techniques. So these organizations, if you will, highlighting that 89%, the 60% increasing, the 50% increasing interactive only, and the 14% increasing both traditional and interactive. So 89% of organizations are shifting to this type of interactive funding for their marketing effort. This coupled with the decrease, as this figure shows, in traditional marketing techniques. Newspapers down, radio's down, television, virtual events, and direct marketing techniques. Notice also the marketers decrease in these traditional areas as well. So what we've seen here is traditional decrease in budgets and a decrease in using or focusing on these tactics. So if you're going to decrease and reduce your funding of direct mail, newspaper, television, etc., where are you going to go? So we've seen that the traditional marketing was our shout out.